Hello everyone, we're back. Code the Dream, React Fundamentals, Hooks, and Fragments. This is week 1.5. Now, so what we've seen so far is how we're going to create custom hooks and our use effect and use state based on what information gets passed to our form. We'll go to the GitHub where we're going to read the instructions. And this is the current state of our to-do list app. So if I refresh, everything seems to be running fine. I can type different to-dos, but the issue here is that every time I refresh, they leave, they get erased. This is actually, I should delete this one. That was from the test. All right, we're back. So let's start. And that's where the save to-do list came into play. But let's follow along. And instruction, we're gonna use a React hook that uses use effect. Start with React, use effect. And the way I was learning, it becomes a bit of a function-like. So we need to open extra parentheses, then arrow function, then curly brackets, and we're ready to pass anything that we need to our use effect hook. Instructions says that we're gonna create a key, which is I think of a hard drive that we can access information from. So we're gonna do local storage, set item, and we're gonna name it our hard drive, save to-do list, capital L. And we're gonna pass our to-do list, and we're gonna add it to our to-do list. So save it. We should be able to see object. Let's make sure it's working. Let's type. There you go, object. The reason it's object, well, because this gets passed as an object. It's not readable. So that's where we use JSON stringify. Close this one, save it again, and we should be able to now see the name of our, there you go, our hello. We still have the issue where every time we refresh, hello world. So here's our objects in the stringify. So every time we refresh, they go away. Reason being, what save to do does is act as a hard drive, but it's not in a constant method that every time you refresh, it comes back into our website. It's just saves all the information, but if we refresh it, it's gone. Our next step will be to make sure save to-do list, aka our hard drive, it stays in place. So for that, we're gonna update our state to-do list. Again, now we're gonna make it as an arrow function, curly brackets. I was stuck for a while on this step. One way I was able to solve it is with our very good friend ChatGPT, which key, if I read over here, a key, meaning something that we're gonna have to retrieve more than once. So how we do that? Well, we create a constant, right? And we're gonna name it save to-do list. And it's gonna be equal to a local storage dot get item. We're gonna pass our save to-do list name, that That's it for now. That's our variable. And then instructions says that at this point, I should get an error about not being arrayed, and I don't think that's working because it's leaving. So I move along with how ChatGPT suggested. So we have our hard drive, but we're gonna return it now. As long as, or in a parse format, and I recommend reading more about the parse. It converts a JavaScript object into a string object. So it goes backwards. So it went from string to an object. And, oh, I'm sorry, object to string, right? I think. In any case, there's more documentation. I'll definitely will need to read more on that to understand it better. So let's check my notes real quick. We have, oh yeah, I need to parse, not the string version of it, but the object version. And if there's nothing, then I'm gonna pass a array. There we go. Refresh. So at this point, all the items should stay in settings. So let's hello world code RAM. So it is working. It is adding objects. Now, one issue that I realized is that if there's nothing and I hit add, it will add a blank to do, which is not necessary, and even though ladder here is an empty string. So I think on to our next lesson, we're gonna fix this, or if not, then that's an extra exercise that we can do together. But let's move on to our custom hooks to make it more readable. So function, we're gonna use persistence date. Okay. I think, let me check my notes. I don't know if it's an error or just, yeah, just curly brackets. Similar to app. So it's, in reality, it's not a function. It's a custom. Copy and remove both use state and app. So all this, Control X, and we're gonna return, return our to-do list and our set to-do list. Let me check my notes, make sure I was following correctly. Yep, we're good at that point. And then we're gonna update our app to use our new custom hook. So right here, this function is going to include the same name. Well, today is not working well, and it's going to be set to use persistent state custom hook. Check my notes, it should work. Set to do list. So far, yeah. Typically there's no error. Let me save it. But we can always troubleshoot it together. And it should work. Let's see. Nope. Something with app. What happened? I must have cut something extra than necessary. Let's take a look. This part as well. Then use effect, stringify, and then we're gonna turn to-do list and set to-do list. I see it. It is not a function, it should just be a constant. I was typing too fast, that. There you go. Little details. So we should be working out. We can delete our little hard drive. As soon as refresh, it'll come back into our state. There you go. So it's a brand new hard drive that is going to store items, and even if we refresh it, it gets added into the get item. So hello world. So it's here, refresh it, it's still here. So that was lesson 1.5. I will add a attachment video because I would like to explain it with a little more how it happened. Let me do a try here. So if I type code gets passed into our new to-do function. So new to-do calls set to-do list, and set to-do list calls use persistent state. So it gets added, and then our to-do list gets, in a way, named save to-do list. So it gets added into it. Then it gets returned, parse, and if there's nothing, it's an empty string array. While the set item passes, then our hard drive save to-do list, it gets stringify and then return here, and then return both React state that gets back here. So that's one way to visualize how to do this. I still need more resources. I bet if there's the next step that I need to rearrange or something, the use state will have to be used, or use effect. That's one way to solve it. And let's go. Yep. So we are done on this lesson, and we're moving on 1.6. But all right, that was Code the Dream React. Thank you so much for watching.